very important issue. Like my colleagues, I too stood outside Naas General Hospital a number of weeks ago on a wet, cold Monday, where I saw members of the nursing staff in Naas do something that wasn't natural to them, that they didn't want to be doing, to be out in front. They didn't want to scare patients, but they felt the need to highlight the frustrations that they have. As has been outlined, we have, the hospital has sought 24 full-time positions. A number of them are agency, and the delay in filling these agency positions, it makes sense to go from agency staff to full-time staff and full-time equivalents. We need that full approval. We need it to be fast-tracked. We need red tape to be cut and those positions to be advertised and filled as soon as possible. And the additional staff and resources to be put in place. The 12 delayed discharges is having a knock-on impact within the hospital structure, and that is definitely something that I know the figure was higher a couple of weeks ago. It is coming down, but we need that cleared. We have great step-down facilities like in St Vincent's in Athy, but we need those cases processed so that they can move out of the system in Naas and ensure that everybody who's in a bed in Naas needs to be there, and that every bed that is available in Naas is open and utilised and fully used. I would say that I fully support the management staff in Naas General Hospital. When my constituents in Kildare South get sick, they depend on Naas General Hospital for that great level of care, both on an emergency level and for a longer stay. And we need to support the staff, make sure that the working conditions they have and allow them to do their job to the very best of their ability, and that there is enough staff, and that those staff, where it makes sense to go from agency to full-time equivalents, that is fast-tracked and happens as soon as possible.
Thank you very much. Minister, you have 4 minutes.
I'd like to thank the deputies for raising this issue and for giving me the opportunity on behalf of the Minister for Health to outline to the House the current position on the matter. The HSE has advised that Naas General Hospital has experienced additional pressures this year, with a 14% increase in the emergency admissions year to date. And there has been a 45% increase in the number of patients on trolleys since this time last year in the hospital. Naas General Hospital has also been obligated on a number of occasions during the year to implement the full capacity protocol, which involves placing additional patients on trolleys to ward areas. I have been assured by the HSE that when Naas General Hospital does experience overcrowding in the emergency department, every effort is made to admit patients to inpatient beds based on clinical needs as soon as possible. The hospital has appropriate escalation policies in place and monitors in its activities continuously. A number of measures have been taken to address the demand. The hospital currently has 30 additional beds open, which have remained open all year, and has additional beds open in the acute medical assessment unit and day ward to meet the demand from the emergency department. And from what the deputies say, that demand is clearly there. Notwithstanding current pressures, compared to the baseline year of 2011, there have been 1,717 fewer patients on trolleys year to date in Naas in 2014. In relation to resources, the hospital's budget allocation for 2014 is 53.196 million, with staff of 637 whole-time equivalents. The hospital has appointed 26 staff nurses this year, 14 of which were replacement posts and 12 were new posts. Furthermore, the HSE National Recruitment Service is currently in the process of appointing a further 8 nursing posts, of which 6 are replacement posts and 2 are new posts. I am assured by the HSE that the hospital will continue to engage with the HSE National Acute Service Division and Social Care Division within the HSE to take advantage of additional capacity initiatives to relieve pressure on the hospital throughout the winter season. The deputies will also be aware that Naas General Hospital is part of the Dublin Midlands Group, which includes St James's Hospital, Tallaght, Midlands Regional Hospital, Tullamore, Midlands Regional Hospital, Portlaoise, and the Coombe Women and Infant University Hospital. I am confident that there will be a structured integration of Naas Hospital into the Dublin Midlands Hospital Group in 2015, and this will provide support for Naas Hospital in managing demand and delivering a high-quality, safe patient care in a cost-effective way. But I do accept fully that when you have, and I'm reading out in terms of the posts and replacement posts and the additional posts, that clearly there was a great demand on this hospital and they did not have the amount of posts that they needed to manage that demand. I hope that the additional posts, both replacement and new, will in fact alleviate some of this pressure, because I do know how beneficial it is to have a hospital in your own area. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Each of the deputies has a final 1 minute. Deputy Lawlor.
Yeah, thanks very much, Minister, and I welcome your response there. Obviously, as far as most of us in the Kildare area is concerned, is the fact that we have a safe hospital, and we do have a safe hospital there, but it's the staff there is under extreme pressure. And one of the things that can be degrading for the staff to hear every morning on the local radio station the number of people that are on trolleys, and I know how hard they are working. I do understand what they're going through at the moment. We welcome the extra staff, but a lot of them are replacement staff. And we do need the additional staff. As I already pointed out, the demographics of the area the numbers are increasing. There is additional pressure on the hospital itself. So while the additional staff is welcome, we will be constantly pushing for additional funding and additional staff for the hospital too as well, because, as I said earlier on, it's a focal point for the whole county. Naas General Hospital is associated with the whole county because it's situated right in the centre there. And as I said earlier on, the staff working under the pressure that they're working at the moment feel the need that there is additional staff required there. Thanks, Minister.
Thank you very much. Deputy Murphy, a final 1 minute.
One thing that you never used to come across was that people from kind of the Leak, Slip, Selbridge area would be directed towards Naas. It would always be Blanchardstown or Tallaght. In actual fact, increasingly, Naas is absorbing that big conurbation, if you like. So it's a kind of pressure that was never on the hospital before. I'd like to echo the point about the staff and the kind of stress they're under, because this is, when you've got replacement staff, there's training in, and and part of the reason why the staff are being replaced is they're burnt out. You can only deal with stress for so long. The very fact that there's 14% of increase, and I mean it's useful to have that figure, unfortunately it's historical. You have to get to that point to prove that there is pressure on the hospital. The very fact that that is showing up is showing that the demand is an increasing demand because of the size of the kind of the size of the county and the increased pressures from places that would never have depended on the hospital before, and with the Fair Deal scheme where the 2,000 people are queuing. That is putting enormous pressure on both Naas and the Dublin and Midland hospitals that it's connected to. So there needs to be more than just a historical model looked at. We need to be looking at how you plan to make sure that this situation doesn't arise, where there's clear and demonstrated demand that is an increased demand all of the time.
Thank you very much. And finally, Deputy Heydon, you have 1 minute.
I thank the Minister for her response, and I think the figures that the Minister has outlined in her response show the pressure that Naas is under and has potential to be under in the future. 14% increase in admissions and 45% increase on those on trolleys. Minister, this is November, it's not January, it's not the peak time yet, and I think what we need is, we need absolute flexibility in aiding the hospital to continue to provide the safe care that has continued to do so. We need to do everything to help the management and the staff of Naas General Hospital in this time of increased pressure on demand on its services, to ensure that its flexibility is there. And I welcome what you've said in relation to the new appointments this year as well as the replacements, but what I would urge you to do is to ensure, to go back to your officials and ensure that we have a cut through the red tape, that those agency nurses can be gone to full-time equivalents, and that the additional positions can be put in place as soon as possible.
Thank you very much. Minister, final 2 minutes.
Very brief. I very much take on board about that area, and that sort of, once again, increasing population base in that whole area. I think that is a significant issue, and despite the fact that Naas General Hospital will in fact become part of a bigger group, I don't think that will deliver the type of solution that we need. Maybe we should be looking at a broader solution in terms of extension in relation to the hospital, and I always find that once a building comes in and starts to be developed, then additional staff always follow with it. But clearly we need to take a look at the population base, the rate of its growth, and that whole area has always been a very fast growing area. There's a little bit of a dip for a while, but I think it's coming back. So maybe it's something more than staff, even though staff are crucially important. Maybe we need to take a broader look at what's needed there.
Thank you very much, Minister. That concludes topical issue number 3. And the final topical issue in this round is in the name of Deputy